Our returning guest today is Dino Cazares. He is the guitar player for Fear Factory, one of the most legendary metal bands on the planet today. If you want to support the podcast, please check out our sponsors in the description below. Thanks. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by DistroKid. If you're an artist, musician, and want to get your music up on platforms such as iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, and even social media like TikTok, Instagram stories, you know what's up. DistroKid can do that. Just sign up today and get 30% off. Head over to distrokid.com/VIP/Garza. That's distrokid.com/VIP/Garza to get 30% off. Check it out. We are also brought to you by EMG Pickups. I personally use the 81.7 here in the bridge and the 67 in the neck. It gives me that over-the-top, heavy, exaggerated sound that I love and need in my life. Head on over to emgpickups.com and check out their wide variety of sick gear. And we're off. I hope you enjoy this chat. Please welcome Dino Cazares. Well, Dino, you were invited to my wedding.
Bean and cheese burritos, love them. The beans, depends on how they make them, doesn't always agree with me. I love refried beans where they smash them, right?
Yeah.
They smash them.
Yep.
Sometimes they put, lard in it. Sometimes they put bacon grease, like bacon oil, like, when you cook bacon and then you let it sit there and it gets cold and it gets kind of lard looking.
Yes.
That they put that in there too. My sister does that.
Oh, wow.
And it tastes amazing, but it's heavy. It's like
it's heavy.
Yeah, it's like, in other words, it's heavy in your in your intestines and stuff like that. Just, I love the way it tastes, but it's just too brutal.
But it makes you make heavy, brutal rips, though. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah, powered by frijoles. That's what they say. Frijol power. I just love that. I love beans and cheese and tortillas. Obviously, I can
favorite.
Ever since I was a kid, my mother made hand rolled tortillas herself, right?
Wow, hand rolled.
She did it with that with the roller, like you do the pizza roller.
Yes.
She did it like that, and
wow.
I just remember there sitting there when I was a kid, like waiting until she put it on they call it comal, which is like the little thing where you heat up the tortilla.
Yeah.
And then she would flip it over, and then she'd put it in this little basket type thing to keep it warm.
Yeah.
And I would just take them out of there, and I'd put butter on it and just eat it like that. It was so good.
Dude, it's crazy how the memory of the taste stays with you forever.
Yes. And then my mother would make salsa, right?
Oh, dude.
Right?
Oh,
and so
man.
the whole
Homemade
house,
salsa, dude.
the whole house would smell like the salsa when she's making it.
Yeah.
And it would be so spicy that it would like kind of burn your eyes a little bit and your nose. You could smell it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I love that. It was like amazing. And I still love it. I'm a salsa freak.
Dude, salsa, all kinds of salsa.
You could tell,
hot, medium, or hot as fuck.
Yep. You could tell a good Mexican restaurant if you go in and the salsa's good. You know how when they bring you chips and salsa?
Yeah.
So if the salsa is good, then the rest is going to be good. Because if they pay attention to the salsa, then they're going to pay attention to everything else. That's how I judge it. Sometimes they bring you out, stuff that's not hot because they got to cater to everybody. So they bring you the gringo salsa is what we call it, the güero salsa.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that's not hot, right? But it could taste good.
Yep.
Right? Usually when they do that, I usually say, hey, do you have something hotter? And they go, yeah, we got hotter stuff. And they bring out the hotter one. Boom. Exactly.
Dude, you need those spicy rips, dude. Any place that's going to pay attention to the small details, then like the rest of the foundation is going to be good too.
Exactly. So the funny thing is like during April Fools, right? I put a tweet out and that it said that I retired from music, and I was going to go into my own taqueria, which was going to be called Gordinos, which is a play on words. It's gordo and dino, so Gordinos.
Okay.
And so Tony Campos, bass player of Static X and Assassino, he came up with that name, and I was like, damn, it's a great name. Yeah. So I put it out there, and so a lot of people started to believe
that I
was going to really retire from music and do tacos.
Oh my gosh!
I literally had to take it down. I did.
Take it down.
I had to take it down. I had to tweet people like it was just a joke.
Oh my gosh! You are, and this is gonna bring in the new podcast with the ending of the last one. You are a lifer, and so I saw that. Obviously, I know you're kidding. In 30 years, you are a lifer. You're gonna go on forever. You know?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I mean, I'm still alive, so as long as I'm still alive and my right hand still works, I'm all good.
Do you ever think about that? It's like, how long can my right hand go?
I don't like to think about it, but
you don't?
Yeah, it's popped in my head a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't really dwell on it or nothing like that. I don't like get lost in the negativity of that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I just like say, fuck it, I'm still doing it. Let's do it. Let's go.
Is it negative to you though?
I mean, yeah. If one of your body parts doesn't work anymore like that, it's kind of negative.
Up.
Yeah. It's like men when they get older they can't get their erections anymore. So that's like, dude, that's definitely
that's a terrifying day to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm counting down the days. Hopefully it never happens.
As long as it still works, I'm okay.
Woo! Well, I'm gonna do again. We're ending the last one. Right when I did the podcast with you, it was actually this is also 1 year anniversary. You did it last April.
Really?
Last April.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we were talking about Dick Dale. He died. He died at 81, and he had shows booked throughout, because he toured throughout his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the most one of the most legendary right hands, obviously, of all time.
Yeah.
And what he's been called the father of heavy metal.
Pretty much, yeah. The staccato riffing.
You're talking the tremolo.
Yeah, tremolo, whatever you want to call it.
80, 81. So
that's a long time.
And if you watch videos of him, late 70s, and he plays that fucking riff in that song, it's like, oh, it sounds exactly like that.
Yeah.
The same soul, and still nothing's lost.
Yeah.
And someone like us, that's very inspiring. It's
totally,
like,
totally.
Like, dude, like he's still, because I'm 36, and I think about that. I'm okay, like how long can I down pick in a speed pick, and on top of that, headbang.
Yeah.
My fucking back's already fucked up, dude.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah, it happens. You know what? For me, usually when I'm on tour, it's usually bus bunks that fuck up my back.
Dude.
You know what I mean? Headbanging, the weight of the guitar.
Yeah.
That's why I've like lessened the weight of the guitars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in guitars, you can actually, whoever makes your guitars can actually cut out chambers. Like in other words, they take out pieces of wood in the back of your guitar, inside the guitar.
Wow.
Right? Because you know how you have electronic cavity in the back?
Yeah.
Well, there's other places where they call it chambers, where they could actually take out some of the wood. Huh. Of course, they cover it up in the back, not with a plate, but with wood.
Yeah.
And it makes it lighter. Like I know that I've recently heard that the Meshuggah guys have been doing that because they're fucking 30-inch scale necks. Nuts. And their 8 strings are very heavy, and they're like, they're headbanging back and forth.
Yeah.
Definitely can, fuck up your back. Yeah. I do go to chiropractors at least once or twice a year just to get adjusted because I lean this way of the, of the butt of the guitar. I kind of they take an X-rays and they show my hip and it's like this.
Yeah.
They have to adjust it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you got to get it readjust because it'll just kind of keep going back to that, right?
Yeah, I'll be walking all crooked and shit.
Man, yeah, and those bunks, dude, make you sleep like shit.
But going back to Dick Dale and guys like that, look at the guys in Judas Priest and they're in their 70s, stuff like that, and 60s and 70s, and those guys are still going at it. And I'm like, okay, if they can still do it, I can still do it.
Dude, totally. I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, we saw Cannibal Corpse 2 weeks ago. Here in Orange County, and George, he looked better than ever.
I don't know how old George are, but I think they might be in their late 40s, early 50s.
I want to say 52.
Okay, there you go.
Definitely early 50s, and we're all talking about it. Like he sounded and looked better. It was like, what? How do you fucking do that, dude?
Yeah,
it's he is a freak.
Yeah,
but it's still something that we look to. It's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, thank God it's not as bad as sports, because basketball players, they can't do it for very long because jumping up and down, it's a wear and tear on their knees and their hips and their ankles and all that stuff. So a lot of those guys couldn't do it. I mean, Kobe couldn't do it. He was already like 37 or something like that. And
Yeah.
he was like, he just, he ripped his Achilles heel. Luckily we don't have it that bad like that. Usually for us musicians, it would be backs or necks. A lot of dudes have neck surgery. I mean, I think Corey Taylor had neck surgery.
Yeah.
Tom Araya had neck surgery. I'm sure there's a few other guys that's had it as well. It's just from headbanging and doing windmills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That stuff is definitely wear and tear on your neck for sure.
Dude, the wear and tear, it's fucked up.
Exactly.
You just came back from a tour. 2 tours.
2 tours, yeah. I did a 6-week tour with Soulfly, jamming with Max. And then right after that, 3 days later, I was in Mexico touring with Asesino, which is great. They were both great.
So you did 3 shows?
3 shows with Asesino, yeah.
Wow, where at?
We did Mexico City, Mexicali, which is right here, the capital of Baja California.
Okay.
Which is right across the border.
Okay.
And then I did a small town called Puebla.
Wow, a small town.
Well, it's not small, but
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 hours outside of Mexico City. It's nice.
I mean, you have a lot of experience touring in that country. To someone like me that hasn't done that, that's very terrifying. What is it like touring around there?
Well, I've done different types of tours. Like, in other words, I've done where it's just fly dates. You fly into the big cities. It's no big deal. It's easy. It's like any big city.
Yeah.
Right? Mexico City is very modern. They got, a lot of the same things that we have here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's usually when you go into the smaller towns where you really see the roots of Mexico. You know what I mean? You really get to see, some of the poor people, how they live, and just,
Wow.
It's like any small town, like in America, but a little different. You get to see more of the culture in some ways. You know what I mean? You get to experience the foods that are made locally. The local style foods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They cook meat different. They make tortillas different. They use different kinds of grain for tortillas.
Yeah.
Just all kinds of stuff that you don't normally get to see when you're in the bigger cities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen this guy pulling out. I've seen this car pulling out of a gas station.
Yeah.
Right. And a car pulled up in front of him, and a car pulled up behind him. They all came out. They had masks on. They came out with fucking like AK-47s and pistols. They went in there, pulled the guy out of the car, threw him in another car, took him. Somebody jumped out of another car, took that car with him. So I've seen some kidnapping shit. It's crazy.
You saw that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And we all ducked. We were in a van, and we all ducked because we thought they were going to blast. And if they blast, and that shit, bullets going to be flying everywhere. So we all kind of ducked. But at the same time, we were kind of peeking. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see in the news pretty often, like people get caught in the crossfire alone.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. Usually it's like the borders where a lot of the cartel. I don't even really want to be talking about this, but a lot of the cartel are basically fighting for the borders because once whoever controls the borders controls the drug trafficking. So.
Oh my gosh! And you just fly in and do a show. What's up, dude? Boom, shred.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, "Look, is it scary down there?" I mean, maybe for me it's not because I'm Mexican.
I'm scared.
But maybe if you're a white boy, I don't know. You know what I mean? But when we're like I said, when we're in all the big cities, it's very modern, so you see a lot of white people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of white people there. A lot of people that go out there to do business, and stuff like that. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
just tourists.
Yeah, just tourist stuff. Wow. You and Max have such a rich history. What was it like for you actually touring with Soulfly?
Well, I jammed with Max. The first time I jammed with Max was back in 1990. I'm gonna say 97 or 98. When he did the first Soulfly record, I played on a song called "Eye for an Eye." Yeah. And so, I knew the vibe. I knew the riffs. I've known Max since 1991. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so we've been friends for a long time. So it was really good to tour with them because I was able to really catch up and, see how he's doing. You know what I mean? Because I got to fly to Arizona, spend a week with them, do rehearsals. This was last year.
Yeah.
Do rehearsals, and it's very cool to see because he's such a legendary guy in his own right. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's created a lot of stuff. back in the day when he was releasing Soulfly records, I was releasing Brujeria records.
Yeah.
So he was releasing, stuff that was, very indicative to, all the stuff that was going on in Brazil. And here I was releasing bands like Brujeria, doing our records and our 7 inches and all that stuff back in the late 80s, early 90s. That was very indicative to what was going on in Mexico. So we definitely had a lot of connection over the years over all the certain politics that go on in our countries. You know what I mean? So, in that way, we made a connection way back in 1991 because of that.
Yeah.
And so, getting to jam with them and spend a lot more time with them was very, very much reminding me of like how we first met. And I realized that we're still the same people. We still like a lot of the same old school stuff.
Yeah.
We still talk about a lot of the things that do go on in our countries, and in the whether it's Brazil or Mexico, we do still talk about a lot of stuff like that. And it's amazing I never thought I'd ever get to jam with them like that on stage. Playing with them and just looking over, the periphery of my eye, to the left or to the right, and just seeing him there, I'm like, fuck, I'm jamming with Max. You know what I mean? And
wow.
It just felt good, man. It was like, damn, it's like, it's like my bro. He's my brother, it's like my brother from another mother. And so, we have a lot of the same, I guess, kind of upbringings in some ways that we found out, him losing certain people in his life, me losing certain people in my life. I don't want to get into details like that, but I realized that we had a deeper connection than just music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how long it took you guys just to start jamming like that. It's weird how your worlds has got brought back together.
Yes, because he's like I was doing Fear Factor for so long, he was doing Soulfly for so long, so we only cross paths once in a while. But again, when you're in a bus with somebody, you get a lot of opportunities to have conversations and talk and stuff like that. And the whole family's, Gloria's a sweetheart, Zion and the rest of the family, little Igor and Richie and Jason, they're all cool people. I mean, I've had many, many great moments with all of them.
Imagine being someone that actually watched those shows,
Yeah, I mean, we've had people, totally freaking out because me and Max are there just on stage jamming together, dude. And you see the Fear Factory shirts, people coming out to the shows wearing the shirts and stuff like that. And
wow.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, and we've talked to. Whenever we had the chance to talk to people, because a lot of times, because of COVID, we really
still going on.
Yeah. Well, the last tour last year, it was still right in the middle of COVID still, and so a lot of times we didn't get to talk to people. You know what I mean? But whenever we did, they were just like stoked just to see me and Max on stage together jamming these riffs, and we would break out into a couple of Fear Factory songs.
Really?
Body Hammer and Replica.
Wow.
And Max would sing them, and I do the melodic parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And then I would do Zero Signal, but I would play it by myself and I would sing it. It was really cool. And then, so when we did get to talk to people, they were just fucking freaking out that we were there, me and him, jamming together.
Unreal, because you have one of the most legendary rhythm guitar players on the planet.
Yeah.
Still alive. Now they're both on the same stage.
Yeah.
That is unreal to see, man. And hear.
And it was really cool too, because I've seen some early Soulfly shows where Max didn't play as much, but for some reason I came along. He's like, "Fuck, I'm gonna play all that shit." Because, there's times where Max will not play the guitar and just grab the mic and just sing to the crowd. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
But on these last 2 tours that we did, he jammed everything, and it was fucking amazing. And then we would improvise also. There would be stuff that we would improvise, and Max would call out different songs, and you got to be ready.
Oh,
you got to be prepared. Yeah. So he was definitely very challenging as a musician for him to call out certain songs.
Yeah.
And to do them, you got to be ready.
But you already
and it was fun. That actually made it fun.
It was
you know
fun,
what I mean?
Huh?
Like the show, you have a certain set list, right? And you do the same set list every night.
Yeah.
But he would improvise and he would do different things, right? and it made it way more interesting because you didn't know where it was going to go, but at the same time you felt it and you jumped right in. You know what I mean?
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, kind of me like I always compared him to like James Brown. You know what I mean? Because James Brown he was the conductor. You know, he was on stage. Yeah. You know, slow down, whatever. You know, he was the conductor. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how Max was on stage. He was the conductor. He led the show. He controlled the show.
Yeah.
He would just jump into different stuff, and you just got to be ready and go with it. And that's what made it really challenging and fun because it was different all the time.
That's fun, dude. But did you have those songs already rehearsed? Did you like rehearse like a ton of songs? So when you guys did call outs? Yeah,
the first tour he gave me like 22 songs to learn. So 22. I learned pretty much almost every little detail, right?
Wow.
But some of the songs he would change live, and I didn't know that. And so when I got there rehearsals, okay, you guys do it this way, you guys do it that way, cool. And then your memory's gotta kick in. You just gotta remember all that stuff.
Wow.
It's fun.
It's fun, huh?
Really fun, yes.
Did you forget any riffs?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot little stuff here and there. You know what I mean? Of course. Yeah. And I wouldn't say I forget a riff. I'd forget a change.
Oh yeah.
Like a change. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily wouldn't forget a riff, but I forgot a change. I'd just jump right back into it. Totally. You probably wouldn't even notice it live, but I notice it.
Yeah, when you'll make little mistakes even with your own band, but in those instances you hope that the drummer's on, the singer's on, other guitar players on, so like it's like a very seamless. So when the speakers, people don't hear it. It's just you, but you hope like the rest of your band's on.
Yeah,
right.
And that's what I liked about jamming with Max is that he definitely made it interesting live every night. You know what I mean? Some people didn't like it. And I'm not talking about the crowd, but maybe some of the musicians that had been in the band didn't like it, but I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, something fresh, dude.
Something fresh, exactly.
Fresh and heavy.
Yes, and then we would go into a little reggae type breakdown and some songs and stuff like that, and it was really cool. And then he would be like, yeah, keep going. Like he'd yell at me, yeah, keep going. I'm like, okay, and I just make up some stuff. And
that's fun, dude.
Yes.
That's only possible with a history of chemistry.
Yes, exactly.
It's only possible doing that, dude.
Exactly.
So it's only imagine being someone watching that. That's only going to happen once. Boom, it's over.
Yeah,
it's never going to happen again.
I think with a band like Soulfly, there's a little bit more freedom to do that kind of stuff. Maybe not exactly when he does the Cavalera Conspiracy, Sepultura songs that he does. I don't think he really does that. But as far as Soulfly, there's a lot more openness, and there's a lot more. You can add jam parts. You can, you can add stuff like that, and it's a little bit more freedom in Soulfly.
Yeah. Have you tried doing that stuff with like Fear Factory?
No.
You can't do like little freestyle jam here and there, dude.
Nah. No? All our stuff is basically on a laptop, right?
Yeah.
All the click tracks, all the changes, all my guitar patches change through MIDI.
Yeah.
Right, it's all programmed, and you just gotta follow it. You gotta be tight. It's precise. People want to hear our songs like the record. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's a whole different vibe, and that's why I really appreciate jamming with Soulfly, because I have more freedom to do it. Not that I don't like doing what I'm doing in Fear Factory. It's just fresh to do something different all the time.
Totally. What a treat to see two rhythm guitar players go out. If you think about it, it's pretty rare. Would you consider yourself a rhythm guitar player straight up?
Yes, I consider myself a rhythm guitar player. I like writing a lot of melody. There's a lot of melody in my writing. There's a lot of percussiveness in my writing as well.
Yeah, a lot.
You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I'm a sort of a drummer at heart. You know what I mean? And I really love the drums. And, I program and write drums with my engineer and stuff like that. And so a lot of times when I write a riff, it's very percussive, and then I write the drums to go along with it, because I kind of hear the riff and the drums at the same time.
Yeah.
And so, and I actually added some of that to Soulfly. I added a little bit more percussiveness to some of the riffs. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Max likes it. He totally enjoyed it. It was something different for him.
He's probably stoked.
Yeah. There's a lot of we added a lot of extra stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loved it.
That would explain why you, especially in the early days, like why you synchronize your playing and the double kicks, and that created like your identifiable sound.
Correct. Tone-wise, syncopated the kick drums with the guitar. It's just the drums in general, really, with the guitar riffs and vice versa. Obviously, I think I told you on the last podcast that I was influenced by Metallica, the song One.
Yeah.
Just from that little part. Just hearing the little part, I'm like, why can't I do that all the time? Why can't there be syncopated kicks and guitar riffs all the time? And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it with my band. If they're not going to do it, I'll do it.
Wow.
And so that's what I started doing with the Fear Factory. That was my going into it. That was part of my mentality.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you just combine that with the low tuning.
Combine that with the low tuning and wanting to emulate a sampled guitar. Because if you listen to a lot of the early industrial music, and a lot of the early, even some techno stuff, where they would loop a guitar riff.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I got the stop-start type of thing. For instance, like a band like KMFDM back in the late 80s sampled a Slayer riff, but you can hear every time the riff would stop and start. So that there's like this little kind of gap in between, right?
Wow.
So that's what I wanted to do with my riffs. Perfect example, a song called South by Resistor by Fear Factory.
Yeah.
Which it stops. You know what I mean? But modern, when it came like in the 2000s and the mid 2000s and even now, everybody does it with a gate. But I was doing it with my palm.
Yeah.
The gate would cut it. But for me, I would just do it with my palm back in the day.
So with the limitations that you had, that helps you create really like your personality came through.
Correct. With the limited gear that I had to try to copy what these samplers were doing and what certain gates are doing. Gates and gates got better over the years, right?
Yeah.
Because before it used to be like hush units, like just something that would take away noise, and
hush unit. What the fuck's that?
It's same thing, like a noise gate, but not as good, And of course they had noise gates back then, but it wasn't like what it is now. The gear obviously got better, and the gates can really cut certain things.
Wow.
And so if you listen to a lot of the Meshuggah and a lot of the Peripheries and a lot of the other stuff, a lot of the stuff that's been coming out for the past 15 years, a lot of it's done with gate.
Yeah.
But before that, I was just doing it I was stopping with my palm. Yeah.
Wow. So you're also at the same time, you're also modding your Marshalls to add some treble and gain to it. So you're having two kind of things that we just we'll get like a noise suppressor and high gain. It's all fine.
Yes. Well, I definitely had my 1980 86, 87 JCM 800 modified.
Dude, the sickest.
Yes. And it got stolen.
Oh, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
And then I got it 20 years later. I got it back.
You got it back? Same one?
Yep.
What happened to you? Don't mind me asking.
Well, it got stolen out of a truck in 1999.
Yeah.
It got stolen out of our whole truck got stolen. We were on tour. It was Fear Factory, System of a Down, Spine Shank, Head PE, and Static X. All my California friends' bands.
What?
I'm still waiting for System of a Down to return the favor.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
So the truck got stolen?
Yeah, so all of our gear was in back of that truck, and the whole semi got stolen.
Someone stole a fucking semi?
Actually, it wasn't a semi. It was like a U-Haul truck.
Oh, my God. So, of course, at that point, you got to call the police.
We had lights, we had sound, we had all our gear.
Dude, that was
merchandise.
Dude, that is... I can't even fathom that.
Yeah, and it all got stolen, and then they found the truck like the next day. It was on fire. It was like they lit the truck on fire, but they took everything out of it, of course.
You lit the truck on fire.
Yeah, and then there was like some different, people found different instruments here and there at pawn shops, but mine had never appeared. till like 22 years later. 22 years, yeah.
Where did you find the head?
Some dude had it. Some dude contacted me. He goes, "Hey, I got your head. I think I have your head." And I go, "Well, how do you know?" I go, "You got to send me serial numbers and send me pictures of the head." So he sent me pictures of the head. Okay, it looked like JCM 800, right?
Yeah.
I had the little mod things on it too. I'm like, okay. I know there's been other mods as well. I go, look, you got to look in the back, you got to find the serial number and take a picture of the serial number. I'm like, all right. But you could tell it was kind of scratched a little bit.
They scratched it off, dude. It's fucked up.
Well, they didn't scratch it all the way off. You could still tell the numbers.
Yeah.
Right? And so the numbers matched. And I'm like, and then he sent me pictures of the road case. And it was the old school Fear Factory road case that it was in. I'm like, that's it. Dude. And he goes, you know what? It's yours. I want to give it back to you. I go, how did you get it? Of course, I gave him the 3rd degree, right?
Yeah.
And he basically said that he bought it off somebody on Reverb. I'm like, well, who did you buy it off of?
And then you
keep going, and it just led nowhere.
Wow.
I was just happy to have it back. I said, fuck it. I got it back.
It's what you got to do when you get your gear back. Say, well, I got it back.
So when I got it back, it was a little, had some little issues to it. So I just sent it over to Mike Fortin, and he pretty much repaired it. And it came back, and I've had it for a while now.
Damn. Well, now you got to fucking lock it up now.
Oh, it's totally locked up.
And the JCM 800s have been a lot of talk lately, especially in like the heavy scene. Like when you put a fucking, I think Mark just did it on our record. We just put a crazy like overdrive in front of it. It's like, this is, even by today's standards, extremely heavy.
Yeah, if you got the right overdrive, it's pretty much like what my modification is. It's just an overdrive that's built inside of it. But it also has a gate. Like a long time ago, I had him put a gate.
Was a gate in the head?
There's a gate in the head. There was a knob in the back.
Crazy.
You can adjust the gate. It's just one knob, right?
Wow.
So that's pretty much how I got this. But, it wasn't as great as they are now.
Sure.
But Fortin updated the gate, so it's fucking dope.
Dude, that is nuts.
Yes. So, if you get a good, it could be a Tube Screamer, any other overdrive pedal.
Yeah.
That would be, just try a bunch of different ones and see which ones match with the head really well. And it works. It works killer. It sounds killer.
Wow. You got to bring it back on a record, dude.
I already have.
Yeah?
On the new one.
Really?
Yeah.
Same Marshall.
But it's obviously sounds more closer to Obsolete than Demanufacture, because Demanufacture, we were tuned higher.
Oh, okay.
And I was using a 6-string that was tuned down. So it's different. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So obviously with the 7 strings and the 8 strings are going to sound darker, bigger, rounder, fatter. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And so it's got more of the Obsolete tone than Demanufacture.
Wow. What exciting time going from a 6-string from the Demanufacture era to the Obsolete era, where you're going to 6 strings to 7 strings and also tuning lower. During when Obsolete still sounded like Fear Factory, very very much Fear Factory, but there was a change.
Definitely.
And what was the writing process like? Like, how does a song like Shock come up? What was like the writing process like from Demanufacture to Obsolete?
Well, first of all, Demanufacture, me and Raymond wrote that record, the music, in 3 months. It was done.
3 months.
3 months, really quick. We just, you know what I mean? It was just
like that.
It was just in us, ready to come out. You know what I mean?
Dude.
So we wrote it really quick.
Wow.
And the difference also is, well, first of all, 6-string, the tuning is in B tuning, right? B standard. Also, each song had one click track tempo.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like it didn't change, it didn't fluctuate, right?
Oh, wow.
So and then we also added, we layered other snare and kick drum tones to give it more clicky, more attack on the snare.
Yeah.
We layered them with other snare samples.
Yeah.
Right? To give it more of a electronic vibe to it. But you could still tell it's somebody playing it. But
totally.
to give it an electronic vibe. And so that was the approach on that record, is just try to make it as cold and as fucking ripping as possible. Right? So when it came to Obsolete, we wanted to change it up. During demanufacture, a lot of people said, "That's not you playing it." Vinnie Paul told Raymond, "That's not you. That's a drum machine." Raymond's like, "No, I'm playing it." And then he goes, "Look." Like we did shows with Pantera at that time, and like, look, and like, holy fuck, you really are playing it. I go, "Yeah, I use triggers and blah blah blah," Wow. Yeah, so a lot of people thought it was like all electronic and sampled and blah blah blah, and it just wasn't all that at all. We actually played everything.
Yeah.
But so because of all that, we decided, okay, and plus the climate of where music was changing. That's when bands like Korn was coming out. They were like, their production was more raw, organic.
Yes.
I think we had this conversation about, Ross Robinson, where he was making stuff more organic and using older, consoles. You know what I mean? Just vintage stuff. And that's pretty much, part of Korn's early sound.
Yeah.
Was that, right? And so we just saw a shift in the way music was sounding, right? So we were like, okay, let's make ours fatter, groovier, right? And make it organic, but tight as fuck still.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we did. It was like we used, like for instance, on the drums, we used Raymond's kick drum. Like we sampled his kick drum.
Yeah.
Right?
It's huge.
So we layered it with his kick drum and made it pretty much solid, right? Not as clicky as demanufacture. More organic sounding, right? Same thing with the snare. We sampled every piece of his drums and we used his samples as the samples.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the first approach. That was one of the first approaches. The main approach was we wanted each click track to flow up and down to make it more natural. Instead of one, solid click track was like at 190. Yeah. This would, like on Shock, it's just like 2 or 3 different click track patterns. So it'd go like 190, jump to 195, and then we'll bound down to 190, maybe 188, and then back up to like that. So what we did is when we did a demo, me and Raymond recorded Shock, and we picked the best version. So once we picked the best version, we made the click track flow with that. So the click track fluctuated in tempo to make it sound more real, more organic.
So you, in a way, you humanized the click track.
Correct. Exactly.
Best of both worlds, which is what you've been doing since day one up until now. Like you kind of take like the human aspect with the digital world, and you pretty much combine those two.
Correct, and we wanted to do that on Obsolete because we didn't want people to say, "Oh, that's a drum machine," or "That's this," you sample this, sample that. You know what I mean? We didn't want that to be so apparent as compared to demanufacture.
It's still gonna happen. Like I'm not a drummer, but when you hear the drum beat for Shock, I was like, what fucking drum beat is that, dude? Just that intro alone was like, what is?
Yeah,
that is nuts.
It's kind of hard for people to understand it right now because they're in the now. But back in 1990, 1990 when we first started with this approach, it wasn't really happening back then. Bands weren't really doing that back then. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when we were doing it, a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this shit? Oh man, this is different. This is cool. There's melodic vocals. Wow, it's brutal death metal. Like our first record, brutal, sounds like grindcore. Yeah. Death metal grindcore with melodic vocals. And so, obviously we grew from there. And we've worked with Reese Fulber, who was a longtime collaborator with us since 1992. He's more of the keyboards, electronic guy, who really was really able to help us to achieve that in our later records.
Wow.
Yeah, we did after Soul Manu Machine, we did Fear is the Mind Killer, which is the remixes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after we did Fear is the Mind Killer is when we went into demanufacture. And we realized right there everything that I envisioned of how the band should sound. We did it on demanufacture.
So you found someone to share your vision.
Correct, and someone who was
hard to do.
Yeah, and someone who actually saw the vision as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
were you and Raymond jamming in a room Like, were you? Did you bring in riffs? Were you doing freestyle? Like, what's
all the above?
Every kind of.
Yeah.
There's no.
All the above. All the above. I would sit, like on a bus, going to the rehearsal room because we had a really inexpensive rehearsal room.
Yeah.
Well, we were paying like I don't know $250 a month. It's like nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I would have to take the bus, and it would take me about 30 to 40 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so sitting there, I'd be like thinking of riffs and ideas and just.
Wow.
Then I get there, I was like, okay, Raymond, I got a riff, I got an idea, okay. And then we just do it. And he would be
when you do that.
So sometimes it's kind of spontaneous, sometimes I would write stuff at home and I would already have it ready to go and I'd say, Raymond, here it is, let's do it. And then boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all the above, it could be a riff, it could be an idea you had, it could be a song you have already done front to back.
Could be a beat. I remember our singer Burton had a car, and he finally got a car.
Had a boy.
And so we were driving to rehearsal, and then I'm tapping on his dashboard. I'm tapping a beat, which became a song called Flashpoint, which is on Demanufacture. That beat, which starts the song, is what I was tapping on the dashboard on the way to rehearsal.
Wow.
Boom.
How do you? Okay, for us, we have our phones. We got our voice memos. What did you do?
Back then they had it's a funny name, but it was called dictaphone.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that.
Never.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, he's heard of it. It's like an old recorder, but you had the little mini cassettes that go in there.
Oh wow.
Right?
Yeah.
But I never had one. But they had them, but I never had one.
Wow. So did you?
But I did have a drum machine at home, Dr. Rhythm, it's a Boss drum machine.
Yeah.
And you can write patterns and stuff like that.
All that sounds like a lot of time, which ties into a question I want to ask you later, but I'll ask you now. Like how, when you're coming up with the visions and the ideas, and you're also writing, and then you're driving to these sessions and jams. Where are you practicing? Like how?
Yeah, I'm practicing at home. Yeah, of course. I mean, I had a job, so I had to go to work.
And then
I had to go to work.
Working.
I had to go to work. I'd come home, and then the days that we didn't rehearse, I jammed at home. And then I'd get on the bus and go to rehearsal. We rehearsed at least 4 to 5 days a week, me and Raymond.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long?
There was times where I would just say, bass player stay home, singer stay home. Just leave me and Raymond and we'll fucking get it all done. And we connected really well. And so we got stuff done quick.
Wow. Well, how many months did that record take?
Obsolete?
Yeah.
It took longer. It took about, to write and record it, about a year to write and record it. Only because at the time, obviously, we got a little bit more money after Demanufacture. So we said, we're going to build a recording studio. So we set up, we had D88 machines. We had like 4 of those, and we had a console.
Whoa.
We had 2 rehearsal rooms.
Yeah.
Right. So there was a rehearsal room with already a hole cut in it. Put a piece of glass in there.
Sick.
You cut a hole in the bottom to run the cables through.
Yeah.
Right. And so we mic'd up the drum set and triggered the drum set.
Damn. It's
mic'd up my guitar. Blah blah blah. And so, I had like a foot remote, so I can press record. All right.
A foot remote?
Yeah.
I don't even have that. I gotta get a foot remote for the cameras too. Holy shit!
There you go. I was telling you that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we just step on it and press record and then stop. You really couldn't. That's really all you could do with the remote is press record and stop.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's
so
sick.
we would do it just to get it, just to get the ideas down.
Wow, that is unreal. As far as like hours, because I know I myself, I'm a geek. I want to know like how. Let's say on like a Monday, like how long are you just focused on you practicing like your technique? Like you're just sit there, practice. I'm doing riffs. I'm writing. I don't know if you do scales or
all the time. Any minute I had.
You were obsessed.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
There was even a time where I was working at a record store, right? And I would be sitting at the record store, and I would bring my guitar. I'd jam at the record store. Then when somebody need assistance, I would help them.
Next level. That is
so
next level.
I was just doing it all the time, and so that was the thing. You know, I just had one of those gig bags, and I take it, you know, to my work. You know, so whenever I had a minute, I could do it. But I also had a job where I was working at a hotel, and I was a front desk clerk. I couldn't jam there at all.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They allowed me to have long hair, so I just put it in a ponytail.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have the guitar there.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is obsession.
Constantly thinking about. I'm still that way. I'm still that way all the time. I'm always thinking about riffs, beats, whatever. I'm always thinking about it. I mean, people laugh at me all the time because they see me going.
Yeah.
They're like, damn, dude, you got a concert in your head. I'm like, yep.
Man, I don't even leave the house. I got a free concert right here, dude. Boom. I don't go anywhere. I got a fucking record right here, dude. Boom.
Yeah, people make fun of me all the time, but I don't care. It's like, you know.
That's who
I am. Yeah, exactly.
That's literally who you are.
Yeah.
Only a small amount of people, a very small percentage know who they are in that way. Mm-hmm. Like as far as you, it's like how you think, how you feel, like the sound you made.
Yeah.
That's a special thing, man. You know, like the sound is who you are.
Yeah, it's something.
It's crazy.
It's something that I can't get rid of.
And I also think that's why a lot of people, including myself as a fan, just latch onto you. It's who you are, so you create a sound. Hey, it's who I am, and then people kind of like subconsciously would just like you can't really put a word to it, but people like just latch onto it.
Yeah, even if I wasn't in a band or if I wasn't, didn't write all these songs or whatever, I would still be doing that. It's there. It's not going anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
But even throughout your whole career, like you had some crazy moments in your career. You still do it. That is love, man.
Oh yeah, totally still love it. Max has that same thing. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people have it. You know, Max writes a lot of shit. He writes a lot of music.
Wow.
You know, he has a lot of bands. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And the same thing with me. I got over 200 songs that I've written. So
over 200. That's literally a lifetime of music.
It's a lot of bands. Yeah. I try to make this collage of every record I did, and I'm like, I know I'm forgetting some stuff.
Yeah.
And I am. I can't remember them all. I would have to go back and look at my song catalog.
Yeah.
And figure out which album I was on. Like some Cypress Hill records.
Really?
Junkie XL. Yeah, just different stuff.
You were on a Cypress Hill
song? Skull and Bones.
A song or?
No, a few songs. Like 2 or 3 songs. 3 songs.
Damn, that's sick.
Yeah.
And that probably helped you with the way you think about your own music. That probably got you thinking like a different way. Oh, how that this probably like inspired you to do this or.
Well, yeah, I think everybody that you jam with, you get up a little bit from them. You know
totally.
What I mean? You know, and vice versa.
Dude, totally. And someone as obsessed with you, with your music and stuff, was there ever a time for you where like you had to kind of step away, or you get burnt out, like what? Yeah,
of course. There's moments where you might just like you get home from tour. You're like, oh man, I just, you're on a 9-week tour. You know what I mean? I've done these 2 to 3 month tours.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck the guitar for a fucking couple weeks, or maybe even longer, maybe a month. The longest I probably went was anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks without picking up a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just want to, like, 9 weeks, you either want to just chill at home or you just want to go on vacation and forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are people who go through writer's block. And I always tell them, if you go through writer's block, step away from it, go do something else, go hang out with friends. Want it again. You have to want it again. You have to crave it again. 'Cause sometimes you could lose the craving. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You could lose the ability of wanting to, like, you're overthinking sometimes. Sometimes you're overthinking
totally.
Things. You need to just step away, take a few days off, take a few weeks off, take a few months off, and go do something else. And then want to pick up the guitar again, want to crave it again, want to yearn for it. You know what I mean? You gotta desperately want it.
You gotta fucking.
And then once you desperately want it again, it's all gonna come back.
Holy shit!
I've been through those in small spurts, but nothing ever really major.
No matter what happened, you still got the want back, like the genuine, deep in your soul want.
Yeah, I think ultimately you always want it, right? But sometimes you just need to kind of step away. It's like taking a break from a relationship. You know what I mean? Some people do that. They come back and their relationship's better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just kind of relate that to music sometimes. Sometimes it's a relationship that you have with music. You know what I mean? You just kind of want to. The one thing that really clogs my mind is music business.
Oh,
that clogs my mind.
I don't know where to start with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes that's like, there are other distractions that can really fuck you up from writing music.
How do you deal with those? How do you deal with the business distractions?
Well, now I have a lot of them, more than before. Well, I take it back. The distraction was actually the lawsuits that I've been through. Those are really major distractions. That can like make you want to quit the music industry and quit everything and just get away from it altogether. And some people I've seen that happen, right? Yeah. But no, for me, I was always like, music was the one thing that gave me therapy through that lawsuits. Easier example is like, okay, you break up with your girlfriend and you're sad and whatever. During those times, I would pick up the guitar and write some fucking dark shit. You know what I mean? I make some of those discordant chords that sound.
So you went some worded chords. It's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this chord's fucking dark and makes me feel,
a certain way.
And that sadness even comes out more. And like, So I've used guitar as a therapy as well. You know what I mean? Music as a therapy. And it can help you overcome some of that stuff. People tell me that stuff all the time, that lyrically or musically, that it's helped them get through dark times, whether it's suicide, whether it's, a breakup, or whether it's someone dying in the family, whatever. It's been a therapy to in a way, how they say sometimes to get over something, you maybe talk about it and get it out, see a therapist, and talk about it and get it out. That's kind of like how the music makes people feel sometimes. Yeah. To get over certain things.
So you used
and that's really cool when you hear that, because like it makes you feel like you're actually helping somebody. You know what I mean? Not just yourself, because the music can make you feel something, whether it's happy, sad, angry, or just energized and you just want to get it out. You know what I mean? So for me, sometimes when I play certain songs, there's times where I've like literally cried on stage. Mm-hmm. Playing certain songs. Really. And that's like maybe something that, like the song could be about something that reminds me of something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it can make you cry. It can make you emotional that way. And if it makes you feel that way, I'm sure that it makes other people feel that way too. So, and that's the beauty of music. And that's what I like about it, to be able to provoke an emotion in somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you lived a dream. Like, you made music that really truly invoked emotions, and to even freak you out a little bit. I mean, look no further than the person right in front of you. Like, you will invoke an emotion so strong that they have to do something, and then they will start their own career in music because of a song that you did. Because a feeling you had at that particular day or moment with Raymond, and then you wrote a song, but then someone else heard that song or record, and then it changed the course of their life. Yeah. I mean, I don't know where I would be without you and Fear Factory. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you guys were doing that sound way before us, and then especially when you're talking like the modern deathcore stuff, I was always curious what you thought about that. Like, it's very like, I hear it, it's heavy. There's more like, it's very like the kicks and the guitars are very locked in. They're adding synths to it. I'm like, I wonder what Dino thinks about this stuff. It's very like,
I think it's amazing where it's cool, music is. Yeah, I think it's amazing where music has gone. You know what I mean? Even with bands like you guys, you guys created a certain sound that was very Southern California. Yeah, because you guys took it's kind of weird, because you guys took this death metal style and a new metal style, and you put them together. Yeah, and made this fucking sick ass heavy fucking groove shit that's brutal. right? And it kind of pretty much sparked a lot of other bands. And I seen that happening in the early 2000s. What year did you guys come out?
The first record came out in 2007, but then we had an EP that got some steam in 2005.
Yeah. So I saw that way back in the early 2000s, you know, with a lot of bands like, I'm thinking of the band from San Francisco, All Shall Perish,
yes,
Suffocate. There was a few bands, you guys, and there was a few other bands doing that here before I heard it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember hearing stories from Eddie, actually. Shout out to Eddie, saying how All Shall Perish just hanging out with Dino. They were so stoked, man. And I was jealous. Like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I remember they came over the house. I was playing them early Divine Heresy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, back then.
So sick, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? This actually only hit me this morning, how we actually had a very similar start in our career, where you take two things in music that no one's really a simple thing, you combine two things that haven't been combined yet, but you combined them, and then right out of the gates you get like a lot of hate from it. Like you combine like the digital singing with the death metal. Then when Soul of a New Machine came out, it's like you get like a first wave of hate first. Like, well, this is not, you know, Cannibal Corpse. This is not this. You get a certain wave of hate. We combined, you know, death metal and new metal. At the time, it wasn't combined at all. And then that first wave, you get like you get like the what is this? People love it. You got other what the fuck is this? This fucking sucks. Like we all hate it.
Yeah, I remember seeing you guys, you know, all the early Mayhem Fests and stuff like that. And starting out and getting bigger and growing and growing and growing and growing. And you guys were, I think, might have been almost headlining the second stage. I think. Where it was just like, you know, 15,000 kids going fucking nuts.
It's nuts, dude.
I was like, whoa, okay, you guys fucking really did it.
That's fucking nuts, man. It's weird.
What years were those? Like 2010?
Yeah, well, we got lucky. We did the first one 2008, and then 2011.
That's what it is, 11.
2015. We got lucky. That's kind of what you know. Obviously, Ozfest kind of inspired that festival, and I can only imagine what it was like to play Ozfest.
Yeah,
you know,
sometimes when you create something new, it could latch on really quick. Right, and sometimes it might take a moment because it's so new that people are not used to it yet. You know what I mean? It might take a little time to grow sometimes. You know what I mean? Like when we first came out, we had the death metal, industrial, grindcore mixed in with melodic vocals. A lot of people were like, "What the fuck is this? There should be no melodic vocals and fucking
dude,
and it's heavy music like that."
Yeah,
but you know, it also got us a lot of attention. So the same people who were hating it, there was a lot of people who were liking it. And then when Demanufacture came out, it hit.
Wow!
We found the sound. We found people were getting used to it by then, because other bands were coming out doing it after that. Yeah.
So for you, it took them like a couple years, where like there's a point where people started to like latch onto it, right?
Yeah. Well, we got some really good tours on the first record. You know, we got the Sick of It All Biohazard. We got to play in front of a hardcore crowd.
Oh wow,
which was cool. Then we got the Obituary tour.
Oh shit, that's dope. Legends, dude.
We got Sepultura tour.
Well, you're set.
Yeah, and then we did a bunch of tours in Europe. In Europe, for some reason, Europe and Australia really latched onto our sound right away, right on the first record. But it took America a while.
Interesting.
It took America a while because death metal was really big at the time, right?
Yeah.
You had all the Morbid Angels, we had the Deicides, the Cannibal Corpse, the Immolations, the Suffocations. All this stuff was really big. It was probably at its peak at that time.
Wow.
In early 92. So when we came out, we're like, what the fuck's this? And then we pissed off more people when we released Fear's the Mind Killer, which is the industrial, techno, death metal, grindcore remixes.
Yeah.
People were like, what the fuck is this shit?
You never really cared about that stuff, huh? You just you stuck to your guns, right?
Yes and no. Definitely stuck to our guns because I knew that we were onto something. I knew that we wanted to be different. You know, that's why we came up with the name Fear Factory and not like fucking, I don't know, Scalpel or whatever. You know, because that was actually one of the names that we had written down, Scalpel.
Damn.
So imagine we were called Scalpel, fucking slicing people and shit. So yeah, we do like, okay, we don't want a death metal name, so we want something that's going to be more universal. So Fear Factory was perfect.
Great name.
Yeah.
Wow, it's perfect.
Yeah, and so we wanted it to be a little bit. We wanted our name and our music to be more broader than just one particular style.
So right out of the gates, you wanted to stick out.
Yes.
I mean, we did very similar. Like you kind of had to consciously do that. Hey, let's do something that sticks out. You don't want to.
But we also discovered things along the way. In the beginning, like even the first early rehearsals, me and Raymond were already syncopated with drums and guitar.
Yeah.
I already had the idea from Metallica.
Yeah.
That one little snippet.
Yeah.
I already had the idea, so it was something that so when I found out Raymond was really good with double bass, we started to write these patterns, right?
Wow.
And so obviously Bert was singing heavy, and then one day he decided to sing melodic on one little part.
Wow.
I stopped. Like, what was that? I don't know. I just sang something that go along with the riff. I'm like, do it more. You know what I mean? And then we started doing it more, and I was like, hey, why don't you just start singing? And then it just grew from there. Because we knew right in the beginning, we knew we were on to something. Like when he did that, I'm like, okay, that's going to make us stand out. That's one of the things that's going to make us stand out. And so we wanted more of it, and it just grew from there. And now it just became the norm with a lot of bands.
Now it's normal as fuck. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But
there was even a point where bands were like saying, oh, no melodic vocals.
Yeah.
Like bands were like literally telling people there's no melodic vocals. No, fuck that. No melodic vocals.
Yeah, no Fear Factory shit here.
I love the band a lot. I know the guys really well, but I think I've actually heard Unearthed say that there's no melodic vocals.
Wow.
New Unearthed record featuring no melodic vocals.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that is bizarre. I mean, it shows most importantly in your music, but Dino, you've always been a very transparent person. As long as I've known you, and I've watched your interviews, even had the pleasure of actually having a conversation with you on a podcast. You've always been extremely transparent, and from people that I know back in my hometown said, "Oh, dude, I met Dino, and he said this to me," and like very like they speak very highly of you, how like transparent you are about any subject. I think that's, to me, lacking in metal, where people just say what's really on their mind and what they're feeling with music or behind the scenes stuff.
Well, that's where society and where media has taken us, is that we can't exactly express everything we want to express, because I'm particular talking about artists, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll get canceled.
Yeah.
People will get canceled. Of course, you don't want to talk about, racist stuff and stuff like
sure.
that. That I understand.
But that's
but as far as giving their opinion about certain things, a lot of artists don't want to do that, and they're afraid to. And I've just never been that guy. I've always been like, okay, if you don't like what I said, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever, that's your opinion. If you want to cancel me, go for it. I'm still going to eat tacos and burritos and write riffs and be cool.
Oh my God. Now we found the foundation.
Certain people can get away with it. Like Lemmy. Lemmy could say whatever the fuck he wanted to say. People just respected him.
Yeah.
Right? He's one of those guys that could just, there's certain people like that could just say whatever, and that's who they are.
Certain people have that amount of respect, and I personally put you on that short list. Like if you earn the right and respect to kind of say a little bit more,
Yeah, I don't really say fucked up things.
You don't
really, anyways. Mm-hmm. But I do give my opinion. Like for instance, I'll give you an example, an easy example. Like sometimes there's fans that want to talk shit to you, or they want to call you out on something, right?
Yeah.
And then you talk shit back to them, or you call them out on something.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're the asshole because you did that.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, well, too bad. You gave me your opinion, I gave you mine. You don't like it? That's your problem.
Wow.
Yeah. You want to follow me? You're on my page. You're on my Twitter. You're on my Instagram. And if you're going to leave those kind of comments to me, I can just leave those comments right back to you. You're on my post or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This is I didn't ask you to come here, so fuck off.
Would you?
I love that. I love debates. I love challenges.
Yeah.
Things like that all the time.
Yeah.
I do. I get into like, metal debates when something first came out or when something this. The biggest debate that I have right now is you ever heard of Loudwire?
Yes.
Okay. Loudwire did this video that said, who started the melodic vocals first?
Oh.
Right? We didn't even get a mention.
Oh my gosh.
But they interviewed the guys in Killswitch, a few other artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one guy goes, I started it back in 1994.
There's always that one guy.
Yeah, I started in 1994. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. And then, we're talking about the combination, heavy versus, melodic choruses. We're talking about the combination, right? And so they did this whole segment on it. It was like I don't know, like a 15, 20-minute segment. And we didn't get mentioned once, but literally every comment. Yo, Fear Factory. What are you guys talking about? Fear Factory,
Yeah.
What are you guys saying? You guys are so wrong. And the guy was trying to say some other band, I can't remember, Edge of Sanity or something like that, where one guy in the same year our record came out.
Yeah.
Some guy, the whole record was brutal, heavy stuff, but it was one little part where all the music stopped and he sang melodically.
Yeah.
And then it came back. I go, like, that's not even the same thing. It's not even like, we're talking about like, you actually make it a part of your sound.
Yes.
Right? A part of what you are. And so I have the debate all the time, and I think Loudwire actually took it down.
Really?
So I can't find it anymore.
Oh, wow. So shit was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, let's take it down. I think they took it down. If anybody from Loudwire is listening, shout out for supporting the band, but on that one little thing you guys put out, you guys were way wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of like they want to make it seem cool, so they put that one band no one's heard of, so they get like the cred, Yeah. Yeah, Edge of Sanity, or whatever they call it. Yeah.
They were known back then, back then. Yeah, kind of more European.
Edge of Sanity. I
think it's called Edge of Sanity, or Edge of Sanity. I think it's called.
Gotta jam them. How can you not put?
Well, I went back and listened to the whole record.
Really?
Listen to the whole record.
Dude, that's sick.
The whole record, just to see if they were right.
Yeah.
So listen to the whole record, and they were wrong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's even worse.
Even worse. But I love calling people out. I actually emailed them, said, you guys are wrong. I tweeted them, you guys are wrong.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, of course. I stand my ground, It's like.
Yeah. And I think what you said was very right. You're open to debate, so like whatever you say, you welcome back. Hey, if you call me out, sure. I mean, if it's an even playing field here.
Yeah.
I say this, and then you say it back to me. All good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are calling me out for not announcing our new singer.
Oh,
say what's up? You were going to announce a new singer. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to do is announce the new singer just before the Static X tour that was supposed to happen right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to announce it. I was going to release a track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just before the tour, just to get some hype for the tour.
Of course.
Introduce the person. But the tour got postponed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on tour with Soulfly and did all this stuff. And so the thing is, if I announce his name right now, everybody's going to attack him.
Yes.
Right? Boom.
Yeah.
They haven't even heard him yet, and they're going to attack him.
Yeah.
So I want to do where I release a track. And everybody's like, release a track right now. I'm like, well, there's planning involved, right?
Yes.
You can't I just don't want to put a song out just to put it out and nothing behind it.
Yep.
So in other words, what I'm trying to say is what most fans don't understand is like, you want to create hype for something. In other words,
yes.
Just before the tour, I would release a song right? With the new singer, people would get excited. Boom, you got something to tour on, right? Hopefully help generate more ticket sales.
Yes.
Generate more interest for the band, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Right? But if I release a track now, there's nothing behind it, and it's just whatever.
Yeah. Timing, dude.
Timing, exactly.
It's gotta be
That's
better.
what most fans don't understand is that there's planning and there's timing involved, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm withholding who this person is till the time is right.
Good. You got to be, especially with something so sensitive as far as like a new front woman or front man, you got to be very delicate how you handle. Everything needs to be perfect.
Correct.
Has to be.
Correct.
You know.
So that's my thing that I'm saying to everybody right now is that.
It's on, but it's on the way.
But it's on the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened to Burton, man?
Good question. I don't know. I think he just lost interest in. I can only assume, because we went through some really heavy lawsuits for 4 years.
That's heavy.
And it financially crippled us, personally
gosh.
as well. And I just believe that, he lost interest.
Man.
I think that possibly, just all the stuff that we went through in Fear Factory was just like, he's one of those guys, fuck it, I'm out. I quit. Fuck it. He's not he doesn't come across as a fighter, as someone who's going to be like, well, fuck it, we went through it. Let's go through it and let's just continue. But no, I mean, I left the door open for him for a while to come back into the band, but he just pretty much said, fuck me, Raymond, Christian, everybody. Fuck everybody.
No. That's so unfortunate, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna push him or nothing like that. Fans ask me all the time, "Hey, call him up." You know what I mean? Just call him up. Well, if you saw the stuff he said when he left, it's not exactly a phone call away. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So he left pretty bitter, and that's pretty much where it looks like he's having a good time, being free.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna force anybody to come back and all that stuff like that.
It's so hard when you have so much history with somebody, and that's a lot of history, deep-rooted history.
Yeah, 30-something years. Yeah, it is.
You guys been through so much together.
Some people want change in their life,
Yeah.
but sometimes fans just can't accept that. Fans are like, he's a singer for 30 years. Come back. That was his decision. No one pushed him out. No one forced him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
None of that stuff. That was his decision.
In your opinion, I'm also asking you a selfish question because obviously I'm in a band and there's ups and downs, really lows, and there's a lot of stuff, and it's hard to keep everyone focused and to take on the fight with you.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
A lot of fans don't understand that everybody has different things that happen in their life, and they sometimes need change.
Yeah.
And they need to get away from something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is. That's life. I mean, I always tell people, look, sometimes you have like 10 friends, right? You have 10 friends, but they all have different things going on in life. One guy has a baby, you don't talk to him for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Another guy, gets a job living in fucking another state.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So you kind of lose friends. It just happens, right?
Yeah.
And that's just how it is when you have a business sometimes. Everybody has something else that they want to do. Okay, I've been in the band for 15 years. I kind of want to go do pottery now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's a stupid example, but they want to just do something different. And you can't force somebody to come back, because sometimes when you force them to come back, it makes it worse because they don't want to be there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Sometimes they don't want to be there, and it makes it really uncomfortable. And sometimes you don't get stuff done because they don't want to be there. Then it's like sometimes when they don't want to be there, it's like you doing all the work, and we're like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be doing stuff too. It's like, yeah, but he doesn't take it seriously because they don't want to be there. I'm just saying this as an example in my experiences of jamming with different musicians and just things like that.
Yeah.
Things just change.
Do you think that could be avoided somehow?
Avoided?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's just some people just need change, and
some people just need change. They just want to do their own thing. Some people want to be in charge of their own ship, so they leave to go start their own band and try to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that doesn't always work out for them.
And you actually have personal experience with that, starting something from scratch,
Correct.
And starting, all right, now I'm going back on tour and literally just a whole new band. And
pretty much, I just there's leaders and there's followers. That's just how it is. Sometimes the followers don't want to follow anymore, and they just go somewhere else. And for me, I felt that I've always been a leader. Sure, sometimes leaders can be, boss-like, and sometimes a lot of employees hate their boss. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But there's always going to be that one guy who has that vision, right? And you have that vision, and you know what it's going to be, but other people are trying to break down and get him and disrupt the vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes, as an artist, you don't always want to share that. You're like, fuck it. This is. I know it's going to be good. Just follow me. I know it's going to be killer.
Yeah.
Right. And I was always kind of that guy. Like, I know this is going to sound amazing. Let's just do it. And trust me. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And so there's some people who don't want to deal with that anymore, and they want to go off and do their own band, do their own thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Damn. But some people are not all alpha males, and they can't start their own band. You know what I mean? For me, I always started my own band. You know what I mean? Like when I left Fear Factory, boom, Divine Heresy, boom, went on tour with Divine Heresy. We sold a shit ton of records. We put 2 records out. And I also put out 2 Assassino records. I put out 5. When I was out of Fear Factory from 2002 to 2009, I put out 6 records.
That's a lot of records, dude.
Yes.
We're putting out our 7th record now, and you wrote 6 in the time you were out of your main band.
Yes. And then I came back and I put out 4 more with Fear Factory.
Because you're always thinking about music.
Correct.
You're always having ideas, and you're always putting
sometimes
it down, right?
Your mind needs an outlet. Your musical mind needs an outlet, and that outlet is your instrument and recording. So, you have a lot of, for me, I have a lot of music built in my, stuck in my head, and I got to get it out. You need that outlet.
Wow.
There's a lot of artists like that. Max is like that. Devin Townsend's like that. There's a lot of artists like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And those are, everybody I just mentioned are alpha males in their own band. You know what I mean?
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. And sometimes sometimes it works. You got 4 or 5 guys that just all connect, and it's all perfect, and everybody's understanding, and everybody's working and doing their parts. But, it's not exactly that way for every band. You know what I mean?
Every band has its own unique dynamic. And
Correct. And there are bands who, like, 1 or 2 guys do everything and the other guys don't do anything. Mm-hmm. And they just play along and just, there's so many different variables in bands artists, fans don't necessarily see that. All fans see is like, okay, these 4 guys are on the record and all 4 guys did everything on the record. It's not always that way. Yeah. It's usually like maybe a guitar player and a singer, that do everything and, stuff like that. That's how it was for us, but in some cases, it's different for every band. But, sometimes they think that a certain lineup is the be all end all. That just because they see those 4 guys on a record, they think that those 4 guys is what created the dynamic. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2 guys that really created the dynamic of the music.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's true, and it's very difficult to explain that in like a mass. It's kind of impossible.
You can't. It's impossible for a fan to understand it, because all a fan sees is what you market to them, is what the label markets to them, and that's just how it is.
And behind the scenes, we're just trying to keep this damn thing together.
Like way back in Fear Factory and Sullivan and Machine, we had a bass player, but he didn't play on the record. He didn't do anything. He didn't write nothing. But we wanted to put him on the record because the record company said, put him on the record because we wanted to look like a band.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of 3 dudes.
Yeah.
So, and forever, people still think he played on the record. People still think he was part of the writing process, and he wasn't. And it's like forever I'm having to explain that it wasn't.
And so you actually said something that I've always kind of confused me. How you can never answer a question enough, and you just got to keep answering like the question.
Yeah, because you got to realize, this is going back 30 years, so people are just discovering the band now, and they're discovering some of the things about the band that you forever have to keep answering, and that's okay.
It's okay, right?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it gets a little annoying sometimes, but it's okay. That's part of the reason why you're an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some artists say, "Fuck it, I don't explain nothing. It is what it is.
It is.
You can believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. I don't care." Some artists are like that. Some artists don't get on their Twitter or Instagram or anywhere and answer anything to anybody.
True.
But I'm always the kind of guy who likes to set, not always, but a lot of the times I like to set the record straight, like to help them out, put the right thought in their head about, what happened to the band, the history and blah, blah, blah. I don't mind talking about it because our Wikipedia is fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I was reading it today. I was like, I wonder what Dino thinks about this. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, the first thing right off the bat, it says, Fear Factory is an LA industrial band, or LA metal industrial band that started back in 1989. First sentence, wrong. We started in 1990.
Yeah.
Second sentence, Fear Factory came from a band called Ulceration. They used to be called Ulceration before they changed the name to Fear Factory. Wrong.
Yeah.
Fear Factory is its own thing. We were never called Ulceration.
Of course.
But me and Bert had a band on the side called Ulceration.
Oh, okay. But it didn't turn into...
No.
This is a band on the side.
Yeah.
Can you change that shit, or is it pretty much...
You can, but then people always change it back or whatever,
People could change it back?
Yeah. See, the thing is that Wikipedia, it takes from the source.
Oh.
Right? So in other words, you got to add the source. Like, where did that come from? Where did this come from? So the thing where we started in 1989 was from some website. I can't remember the name of it. Metal
something.
Metal. It's a website of like metal history. I can't remember what it's called. Metallurgy, something like that. And there I found the source. I'm like, that's wrong. So their Wikipedia is quoting that.
Yeah.
So the only way you could do it, one of the best ways you could do it is actually go to your Wikipedia page, right? Copy everything that's there, right? Put it on your notes, fix everything separately, just on your notes, whatever, or just however you just write it out. Right. You correct everything on it.
Yeah.
You put it on your website.
Oh.
You put it on your website. And then that is the source of the correct.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. But our fucking Wikipedia is fucking long. Fuck that.
It's a lot. That's a lot of copying and pasting.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we're gonna start landing the plane here.
What's that?
We're gonna start to finish up here. I know
it's land the plane.
Yeah, we're
okay.
What's the future?
It feels like it's short.
Hour and a half, gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's quick.
I told you, man. I'm gonna ask 2 questions. It's gonna be a fucking hour and a half gone already.
All right. So one of the things I want to say, since we're kind of wrapping up things there a little bit, is that we're releasing a remix record.
Oh, cool.
We remixed Aggression Continuum, which is our last record that came out a year ago. Mm-hmm. So the remixes are from different DJs. Yeah. It's not like a remix where we fixed up the mixes. No, we totally, completely manipulated and reformatted and restructured all the songs to be more either techno or more industrial, just more dancier stuff, synth wave, all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
GABA, all kinds of different styles of techno remix album. And it's going to be called Recoded. Right?
It's dope.
Reese Fulber, who's been a long-time collaborator with us, has done like 3 tracks. Mm-hmm. A guy named DJ Zardonic did 3 tracks.
Cool.
A guy named Blush Response did a song. Rob G did a song. So we had, a guy from Canada named Tyrant of Death. Look him up. He's got some crazy shit.
Sick.
He did a song for us.
Nice.
Yeah, we have some other artists as well, but it's going to be killer.
That's great. And when is this going to come out?
We don't have a date yet for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But sometime soon.
Very soon. I would say within the next couple months, month or two.
I know you got to get a date for something, and then you got to lock in around everything that certain date.
Exactly.
And then you got an announcement with the front woman or front man.
Correct.
And you understand how delicate you got to handle that.
Correct.
Are they ready to like handle that whatever pushback emotionally?
I think that they're ready when it comes to talent. They're very ready. Okay.
Great.
But tour ready is completely different.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope that, well, the person that we have has done some touring, right?
Cool. Yeah.
But not touring like we do touring.
Yeah.
You know, like
Full
both
time.
of our bands. Yeah. Like you go to, you know, a full U.S. tour could be anywhere between 4 weeks to, 6 weeks, whatever.
Yep.
Then you fly over to Europe, you do another 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Come back to the States, do another tour.
Yep.
Then you go to South America, you do another few weeks there.
whole-
And then you go to Australia, you do another few weeks there.
Oh my
right?
gosh, man.
And then you plan for next year. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yep. Well, Dino, I hope you're having a few conversations with them. Keep them up positive.
yes.
You know?
I think one of the other things too is like when this person is announced, they're going to have to be able to handle all the criticism. That's going to be the hard part.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't sound like Bert. I'm like, well, of course not.
I can only imagine, dude.
Yeah, I want this person. They do actually sound like Burton. They can handle all the old stuff.
Cool.
Like Burton.
Yeah.
But as far as moving forward, I would like to have them their own identity. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Sure, they can still have that. We're still going to have the formula of what makes Fear Factory.
Yeah.
For sure. But I want this person to somewhat have his own identity as well.
Yeah.
So.
Can't wait to hear it. It was
It's
awesome.
gonna be killer. Like Eddie's has his own vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a combination. You want to respect what you've done, but you also want to let them. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but you want to let them spread their wings, find their personality with amongst you and the touring and the music and how it sounds. And
Yeah. One of the cool things about Eddie is that he came from the same scene.
Yeah, same time, same era. So kind of best case scenario.
Exactly.
You know, and then I'm proud of him. He got some. It's why I bring it up to you. Like he got some thick skin very very quickly. I'm proud of him, man.
Yes, exactly. Because he was put right in the spotlight. Of course, I'm sure people were saying, "Well, he's no Mitch." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
tough, man.
Yeah.
Brutal comments, man. But you get thick skin. I'm proud of him. Still doing it, and
he's Mexican. He can handle it.
Yeah, sure. Sure. And I do my best to have a open line of communication to him via text or phone call. Trying to, just there's emotional support. We're guys in bands. We are sensitive sometimes.
Very much so.
I am too, and I know how much I appreciate a phone call or something. And someone says, "Oh, you're doing good at this," and you're like, "Am I? Thanks, man."
Yeah.
It helps. So
yeah. So when a lot of people talk about me, it's usually like my race, being Hispanic, or being fat, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people talk about me that way,
Yeah.
and that doesn't bother me. But when people say, "Oh man, your riff sucks," whatever, then that bothers me.
It does that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it does. It does. Yeah.
That gets
it's
you.
weird. It's weird. Yeah.
So if you okay, I'm trying to wrap this up. So when someone in your band says, "Oh, that riff's
not in my band."
Oh, but outside
the band, because when we were doing Fear Factory collectively as 4 guys, right?
Yeah.
Our number one rule was no idea is stupid.
Great.
Right? We try it.
We tried.
Okay, didn't work.
Wow, you try it.
Yeah.
And then
we gave everybody the benefit of the doubt because maybe you don't see what they see.
Sure.
Right?
Very,
and
very
so
true.
that's how. Yeah.
So can someone in a band tell you that, hey, this riff is not that sick?
Sure, but we have to try it first.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So as long as it's from inside the tight circle of your band, but not anything from outside, someone can say that final riff sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say anything else, but don't talk shit about my heavy ass fucking riffs, dude. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
Once the song done, it's out there. You got to be open to criticism, of course. I mean, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Whether someone's roasting you on, social media or in person, you just have to be
in person.
Oh yeah, people have told me stuff in person.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
if it's in person, cool.
Yeah,
well,
and it's usually not about the music. It's usually about They don't tell you bad stuff about music. It's usually about maybe another member. Or, you know what I mean? Oh, that's fucked up what you did to this person. I'm like, what? Wow, how do you know? You don't even fucking know what happened.
Yeah, true.
Like, you know, or stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, how do you know? Because I barely even fucking know what happened. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I barely know what the hell's going on. You're trying to keep the scene together. You know, it's tough. Well, Dino, again, thank you for being back on the podcast. You know, you're obviously a big inspiration to me as a player. Obviously, you helped create the sound of Suicide Sounds. You've been doing that sound way before us. So it's mad respect, you know.
Thank you, man.
And it's
and
cool.
Vice versa.
Yeah, and thank you for and to celebrate the 1 year you were here last April. It's crazy, man.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
That was you did the podcast when we were in my parents' garage, and now we're in an actual spot now. It's cool, man.
Yep. Thanks, man. I'm glad that it's grown into something even bigger.
And you helped me with my music, and you helped me with my podcasting. Crazy, man. It's awesome, man. Dino, where can people find you?
Just Dino Cazares everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, you know, Facebook, DinoCazares.com. I'm everywhere. So.
Oh shit, .com, baby. Oh yeah, well everyone, that's it. And thank you. Until next time. Later.
Have a good one.